I welcome you to Bible Time. I'm Willard Pless. And today I want to talk about 2025 Bible Time. Now we're here in 2025. We're now in August of 2025. We'll soon come to September. So I want to talk about where we are in Bible time here and what the Bible teaches about this. Well, we learn that from the scriptures and from the Jewish calendar that Israel will start the year 5786 on September the 22nd of this year. And if you look at the Jewish calendar, see this is the end. 5785 is the end because the Jewish calendar has this sixth millennial shortened 215 years. And this millennial started in 1240 AD. And we're now at 785 years. We're at 5785. And you add 215 years to that, you come to 6,000. But see, the Bible tells us that this is shortened for 215 years. And Jesus talked about this time being shortened as well in Matthew 24. If you go there, you will find that Jesus talked about the time being shortened lest that no flesh would be saved. That even the elect, the 144,000 that Jesus will choose to live on during the seventh millennial, to not be destroyed in this sixth millennial that we come to. And when we come to September the 22nd, we learn that the judgment of the whore is going to begin. And you might say, well, now, what is this? Well, all you have to do is look at Washington, D.C. and New York City and learn who the whore is. What's going on there? See, the thing is, we see these things and see them in real life, but we can't understand that the Bible is talking about this time. We can't seem to realize that the Bible is talking about this. And see, the great whore is Washington, D.C. and New York City now. These are the leaders of the world empire that the Bible calls Babylon, that will return in the end time days. And we've talked about Babylon returning. It started back with Harry Truman, and back then even the false prophet showed up. And the 10 horns, the 10 presidents, counting Kennedy through Obama, and how that one that comes out of the 10 horns, we learned that is President Trump. And we learned that he would show up in 2017 when Israel was back in the land for 69 years. And Daniel chapter 9, verse 25, 26 gives this. It gives when he will be taken down. And we learned that in November the 22nd. That is the anniversary of when President Kennedy was assassinated. That President Trump will be cut off by Israel. See, this is where we are in Bible time. And but people are having trouble bringing the Bible to reality to see that the Bible is talking about this thing. And God's already sending the plagues that we learn about in Revelation chapter 15 and 16. The plagues have been going on for some time because, see, the Bible teaches when Babylon begins to return and gets pretty much in a powerful way, and it started back in Harry Truman's time, and Eisenhower and Kennedy, President Kennedy. And we have to understand what's going on. And here in 2025, see, this thing comes to the climax. It reaches the climax when we get to September the 22nd. We get to November the 22nd. When we come to January the 6th, this is when Israel is going to have to flee to the wilderness that Jesus talked about because of Jerusalem being flooded, because they've shut down President Trump, and his people will flood Jerusalem. See, this is the beginning of the abomination that Jesus talked about. That when Jerusalem is flooded, then they are to flee into the wilderness. See, it'll happen just like it happened to Capitol Hill. And I know people are not seeing this. They're not understanding what's going on. And the reason that people are not doing it, because they're not walking with Jesus and having a relationship with Him. People that don't do that are not going to see. You can be religious. You can know all kinds of religious laws and be very active in church, and you can even be a preacher, but not see what's really going on because you don't have a relationship with Jesus. You're religious. See, this thing is, the world is just like the scribes and the Pharisees. That's the way they were when Jesus came. They were religious, powerful people, but they did not know God. They didn't even know who Jesus was. If Nicodemus had walking with the Father like he claimed he was, all the scribes and the Pharisees, they told Jesus they were walking with the Father. They were following the Father's relationship and rules, and they were having relationship with Him. And Jesus said, you're not. You think you are, but you're not, because you don't know me. You'd have love for me if you were walking with the Father, because He sent me. He's the one that sent me. And if you love the Father and walk with Him, you're going to love what the Father's doing. And He sent me, but you don't know, because you're not walking with Him. Jesus went on in John chapter 8, and you can read that chapter. Scribes and the Pharisees, they were there in the temple, and they were questioning Jesus in a mighty way, and they'd even brought the woman that was caught in adultery. See, they were religious, and they wanted to force religious laws. But see, many of them were very guilty of what they were accusing the woman of. And so they couldn't cast a stone. Jesus knows the heart of people. He knows your heart. He knows where you really are and what you're doing. If you're only religious, and you can be that way just like the scribes and the Pharisees. See, the Bible teaches that the end time days is going to be like that. Jesus said it'd be like it was in the day of Noah. They were religious back then too. Because you can study Genesis chapter 5 and look at the people that were walking with Jesus back then and having a relationship. Those that God was using, like Noah. Bible says that Noah walked with God and fellowship with Him. But the reason people can't see and understand what's going on is because they're not walking with Him. They don't have a relationship. You may be religious, and people that are religious, they don't really hear the truth. They read the scriptures, but they don't really hear the truth. They talk about Bible scriptures, but they don't really bring out the truth of it because they don't hear it. They don't see it. Preachers that are not walking with Jesus, they don't really talk about what's going on and what's happening. They just talk about bits and pieces through the scriptures. And they don't really bring out the truth in that. When they talk about the miracle that Jesus did feeding the 5,000, they talk about the little boy and his lunch. They don't talk about what Jesus is doing, what He's saying, what He's bringing out. He's teaching that you need to eat from my table. Come and eat my flesh and drink my blood. I mean, that's how serious this relationship is. That's what you need to be going after, is that relationship with Him and walking with Him. And that's what we're going to be doing. And we're doing that. And He's using us. I know He is. Because I couldn't see these things and talk about these things if He wasn't giving them to me, because that's the only way you can know them. All the way through the Bible, to go back to the prophets, and then you come to the disciples, and the only way you can see things, you got to walk with Jesus. You can't be just religious and not have a relationship, because you won't be able to see what's going on, and you'll push away the truth. You will push away things that the Bible really talks about because you don't want to hear it. And we're talking about things that people don't want to hear. That's the reason they're pushing away. And they're saying you don't know what you're saying. You need to leave the country, and all kinds of stuff. But people have the ability to do that, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Get in here and get serious about this thing, and talk with Jesus and build a real true relationship. Don't run away, because it's not time to run away. It's time to build that relationship with Him and be able to see and understand what's going on in this world. And I hope you do that. And so God bless you, and you have a great day.